Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and here I have the Pomelo, Citrus maxima. It's also called Citrus grandis. Well, it's the biggest of the naturally occurring citrus fruit, although I think that some lemons and some citrons might actually, or some lemon citron hybrids might actually approach it in size and weight. This one is a bit puny. It seems like the pomelo harvest was not so good this year. I have only seen quite smallish fruit this year. I guess in China they also have trouble with drought the last 2 years. I'm not sure, but the pomelos coming from there are not as good as they used to be. Or maybe since the Chinese are getting quite rich in the last few years, Germany can afford only the smaller, lower quality pomelos. 5 years ago, we used to get quite good ones. What did I mean when I said that the pomelo is one of the naturally occurring citrus fruit? Actually, there are very few natural citrus fruit which are the parents of all our cultivars and cultivated, well, things we see as species. The pomelo is one of them. Well, in many countries and in many languages, the pomelo is being confused with the grapefruit. But the grapefruit is not a citrus species, actually. It's a hybrid between pomelo and orange. Well, what does a pomelo look like? It's kind of pear or fig shaped. It has a very thick and tough pit which can be removed in big pieces, and actually when my kids were small I used to make Halloween decorations out of this pit. You can carve it basically like pumpkins. And then it has a flesh which in most of the Chinese varieties is really dry. Look, dry and basically crumbling. Well, pretty dry in this one. There seem to be a kind of drought issues because this is a bit too dry. There is a big difference between the pomelos we get here from China and the pomelos I ate throughout Southeast Asia. The ones in Southeast Asia, well, they are green instead of yellow. Probably this is because Southeast Asia has no cold weather which can turn the skin yellow. And also they are much juicier and have kind of a nauseating flavor or taste. At least it makes me a little bit nauseous. The Chinese ones, they are yellow because, or yellowish like this one, because grown in a colder climate. I guess the reason why this one is not completely yellow is that it got picked underripe. I guess this is also one of the reasons it's not juicy. See, those things are actually falling apart and my fingers are still almost dry. The taste of the pomelo is quite nice and pleasant, pretty mild for a citrus. A bit of sourness, a bit of sweetness, and almost no flavor in those Chinese pomelos. A nice mild balance between sourness and sweetness. I like the Chinese ones a lot more than those strange aromatic Southeast Asian pomelos. Yeah, I can only recommend it, although it's quite hard to find out if you'll get a good fruit or a bad fruit. You cannot even check if it's super hard or dry, because this pit, here this is quite thin, but it's still between 1.5 and 2.5 centimeters, like almost up to an inch thick. In a bigger pomelo it can be like up to 5 centimeters or 2 inches thick. So good luck feeling the quality of the fruit under such a thin, thick, spongy pit. So it's always a question of luck. This one is okay, but not really great. It's a little bit too dry for my taste. Yeah, the pomelos also have quite a big cultural and religious significance, like around Chinese New Year, the Chinese buy the biggest ones they can find. They're offered at altars, I think also in Japan. There are actually pomelo varieties which are rarely eaten but mostly used as offerings. They're also very expensive pomelos in some Asian countries. Sometimes the pomelos are like 10 times more expensive than other fruit, and people tell me this is because they are supposed to be given as an offering at the temple instead of eaten. Yeah, by the way, you can also use the pith for a lot of different stuff. You can, of course, make citronate out of it, like infuse it with sugar. You can use it in a lot of dishes. There are lots and lots of Asian recipes. I would not do anything with this pith because I'm very sure that it has been treated with a lot of chemicals. Actually, I shouldn't even touch it with my fingers and then eat the pomelo with the same fingers. Basically, I should peel it and wash my fingers and then eat it. But yeah, if they are grown organically, there are also lots of uses for the pith. Actually, mostly for the skin. The bitter pith is often just discarded. So this was the pomelo, folks. Citrus fruit which was almost unknown in Germany 20 years ago, but now it's quite a popular fruit here. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the shops and supermarkets of Germany. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.